How I got here today. I've been helping people one glass of water at a time for 15 years. And 15 years ago, I was not the same person. I was clinically obese. I had been diagnosed with mercury poisoning, adrenal fatigue, and then I went on for 8 years to become clinically obese, living in a very uncomfortable body, depressed, and lost my female cycle for 8 years. And I was trying to get pregnant. I couldn't get pregnant, and I was just like, what am I gonna do? All I want to do is be a mom. So my parents own Beaver Bark in Richland. How many of you have been to Beaver Bark? Have you been there? It's called Beaver Bark. So I worked at the front counter. So my job all day was to ring people up and answer the phone. And so people knew my story. They knew my health, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, Amanda, what's going on today? But they started saying, gosh, you know, what's going on with you? You seem to have all this energy. You're losing weight. Your skin's glowing. What are you doing? And I said, you know what? My grandfather heard about this technology that it was Kangen in the past, and we didn't know at the time. It was just the hydrogen that was the benefit. Nothing else even mattered. So Grandpa, scientific, skeptical man, how many of you know those people? Yeah. So Grandpa, this guy that never buys things for his health, bought this $5,000 Kangen machine. So that got my parents' attention. They're like, okay, well, Grandpa got that. Just here's the credit card. We don't even need to see the demo. I don't care. If you got it, it's got to be good. So then I was like, well, I got to have one too. You know, if you're going to have one, I'll have one. Couldn't afford it, so I financed it. Then I started drinking it. And that's when everyone around me was like, wow, what are you doing? I said, okay, this has gotten me a little crazy, okay? Why don't I just bring my machine from my house? I'll put it in the back of Beaver Bark in the break room. You can just come for free and drink it. And so that's what I did. I got all these water jugs at the Winco, and I'm like, here you go, here's water, here's water. Pretty soon, instead of me being at the front counter, I was all day in the back break room and filling up water jugs. The first month and a half, we had over 50 people coming in to get the water. And so my parents ended up hiring someone else for my job, and I was like, this is awesome. I love helping people. And then they started wanting to buy the machine too, because they started telling me, oh, my headache or my arthritis. I'm like, are you sure? I think you're telling me a story. How could this help you like that? So long story short, I quit job at Beaver Bark 2 months into it. So my parents, hey, I know you want me to own your legacy and have it for the future, but I want to create my own legacy, and I want to help people one glass of water at a time. So I spent 12 years in that company, traveling, speaking. I've been on CNN, NBC, Fox News, all over the world. And about 2.5, 3 years ago, there was a ton of studies, 10 years of studies from very high level studies with professors, and basically proving there's no reason to drink the alkaline water. It's just this hydrogen that's found in that water. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of like so involved in this Kangen that I don't even want to hear this, you know. But I dug in a little deeper, and I was finding some information that was making me uncomfortable because of the alkalinity of the water and the calcium that sticks in the machine. There's potential to have a lot of mold building up. And it's something that we didn't really talk about, you know. It's like, oh, don't tell them the negative things, you only have positive, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take one of these Kangen machines apart just to kind of see what it looks like. Customers like needing it clean, so she came in for its cleaning, and we opened it up. And there was mold and bacteria, and I have videos of it. I'll show you online, but I just couldn't believe it. I almost felt like this guilty conscience about me, because here I am trying to help people, and they didn't clean it because it's so much work to clean it, but they don't like make it this important. If you don't do it, this is what's going to happen. So I said, I can't represent this anymore. If the technology is not going to be sustainable for our customers to be able to drink it and have clean, good water, and it's outdated now, then all this research is coming on hydrogens, and I'm just going to get out of the company and start my own company. And that's what I did. And so now Healthy Hydration, my company, has been operating around the world for almost 2 years. We have about 900 affiliates right now. And we have our new Sweden just opened, our location in Sweden. So we're honored and grateful to be here, to be able to share with this water and what it can do for your health. So this is a cell, and then outer layer here is called a phospholipid bilayer. It's a fancy term for fat. So in a healthy cell, water, oxygen, nutrients, and hormones, and they're burned by the cell as energy, and then that waste is expelled out of the cell. That's healthy. When we have a lot of these toxins from our environment, our stress, those toxins and free radicals are going to oxidize, just like that apple gets old. And where are they going to go? Fat is the easiest oxidized substance. So this fatty membrane starts becoming oxidized, aged through toxicity. And it happens wherever you and your body has its weakest link. So maybe it's liver issues, maybe it's pancreas, maybe it's kidneys, maybe it's eyes. That's where these free radicals start going first, and it breaks you down. Now that healthy cell becomes thick and sticky. Now what's going to happen? Water, oxygen, nutrients, and hormones has a harder time getting in. Then inside of the cell, it starts to build up with all this waste that's trapped and can't get out. That's where disease and cancer thrives, in that environment right there. And so let's imagine here, how many of you have known someone with cancer? Liver cancer, breast cancer, what kind of cancer? So let's imagine this is a cancer cell. This cell is so unhealthy now, what am I going to do? Your body goes through mitosis. Mitosis is where this cell, the mother cell, splits apart and makes two more identical daughter cells. So if you have one cancer cell, that's all oxidized here, now you have two. And then those two split apart, make two more and two more, and pretty soon you have a whole organ that has cancer because it's a copy of a copy of a copy. That being said, how is hydrogen going to help? When you drink it, it's an antioxidant. So it goes in, it's selective, it knows where to go. And it finds those little free radicals and it turns them into water. That's why you notice the difference when you're going to the restroom. It finds an OH, a free radical, and makes H2O, and you excrete it right out. And it just traps up those toxins and helps expel them out of your body. And so what's going to happen over time is it's going to reduce the oxidation of the cell because it's helping to remove the age. So now water gets back in. Oxygen, nutrients, and hormones. That cell divides, it becomes healthier and healthier and healthier. Is that making sense? So I'll just use one more analogy because I think people really understand this. So diabetes. Do we know what the numbers are now? How many people have diabetes? They pretty much, they say 1 in 5 people, but there's like 30% of the population has it. They don't even know that they have it. So your pancreas. So let's just imagine that this is a cell in your pancreas and it's very oxidized. Now insulin is a hormone. Your body sends out insulin to take things into the cell like sugar. So if that cell has been oxidized and your body's sending insulin and that insulin can't get into the cell, what do you think is going to happen? There's an imbalance of insulin. Your body says, I never got this. The cell says, I didn't get the insulin. Give me more. And then your insulin level goes way up because your cells can't receive it because it's so oxidized. And then that cell multiplies and divides, and pretty soon you're getting more medication all the time. You're not getting better. And so when we drink this water, it knows where to go to work. And it goes in there, cleans up that cell. And that's why we see benefits, because now you're drinking water, your cells are healthier, you have the sugar, the carbohydrates. Gets in, and your cell says, I got the message. Thank you so much. And your body can balance itself given the right tools. So that's what it is. It is a tool for your body to balance itself. And we can take it in a supplement form here. So this is our newest product. This is endorsed by the world's #1 professor who founded hydrogen 20 years ago. I got to have dinner with him in the Czech Republic in January. But basically, we have a webinar too that he did. But basically, this product goes in as a supplement. First in the US, we're the only ones that can sell it. And it helps your bacteria, your gut biome, make hydrogen. It strengthens your gut. And so this is great for everyday use because it will saturate your blood longer. And the more ways you can get it in your body, you can't get too much of it. I would say you want to do it both. Yes. Because your body is going to absorb it differently depending on where it's coming from. And this will strengthen the gut. Also, because it goes in for 6 hours and slowly goes down, you have longer protection. But when you have the water, it super saturates your blood. So your body will uptake it differently. So that's a great product. We have water. We can breathe it. We have inhalation devices. I didn't bring it, but it goes into your brain, into your lungs. If you have anyone with brain issues, it was going to get great results because it's going right to the brain, right to those lungs. So what I thought I would do is I would just kind of show you a little bit here with a meter, or we can use drops too, kind of so you can see the differences. Now we talked a little bit about tap water, but what about bottled water? How many of you know the story behind bottled water? Well, I usually have Dasani, and I call that dishonest water. They were banned in Europe. 2007, they were caught putting tap water in their bottles and selling it back to the public. So you could just go to your tap, fill a bottle up, and there it is. That's 100% markup, isn't it? Oh my gosh. So we talk about plastic being bad, right? We're trying to eliminate plastic. It would be great. But there's certain types of plastic. So anything you can move like this, you know it's really bad for you. Why? Is it so fragile? So it recycles better. So the moment you open the cap, it's supposed to be recycling. So never ever fill your bottles up twice. That's key. And when the water sits in plastic, water is a solvent and a scavenger. And it's going to sit in there and it's going to soak up the plastic. And this plastic is, xenoestrogen, which estrogen is a female hormone or a male hormone. Male might have it a little bit. Yes. And if you go down the rabbit trail like I have now, we're finding that there's actually fish changing sexes, frogs changing sexes. In vitro, they're witnessing this happening to rats that they're putting petrochemicals into. It's known as a chemical changing things. And your liver has a hard time breaking it down. So every time we are drinking bottled water, you're giving yourself a pill of estrogen. Kind of scary, isn't it? You didn't know you were on birth control or estrogen today, did you? Like, oh man, maybe that's where my belly fat's coming from. Could be. But 75% of men and women that have breast cancer have too much estrogen. So what it does, let's imagine it's a cell in the cancer cell in the breast tissue. Estrogen is going to make that cell grow faster. So if it's supposed to multiply in 2 days and you have estrogen, it's going to be like, oh, 2 hours, let's make a new cell. But it's a copy of a copy of a copy. So it proliferates and it spreads things a lot faster. It's a growth hormone. So it's very dangerous. They're also called obesogens as well. So you can hear that pop, that's a hydrogen gas. But notice this is thick. This is a number 7. So this is least likely to have any issues in your body and pull any chemicals in. But the reason we chose this bottle to have number 7 is because when you have that high pressure, that's how we can make a large amount of hydrogen. With glass, anything you find on the market, it's not going to give a high level. No, because it would break glass. I didn't know this was going to happen, but I had a client that went on Amazon, bought something, and then here it is, using the front page of something because his hydrogen water machine blew up on his face. Glass. It shattered all over his body. And I got pictures of him, like, oh my gosh, it's dangerous. You can drop them, break. So for the portable ones, number 7. But this is a hydro shot. What you do, you put filtered water in it, you push the button, and there's a 5-minute and a 10-minute cycle. So this unit has an anode and a cathode, just 2 plates, platinum, and then there's a membrane in between of mesh. And that basically is what creates the hydrogen. You're seeing that right here. And we have a similar technology, but much bigger in here. So there's 2 plates separated by membranes. That's what makes it. So you have the 5-minute and you have the 10-minute, and you want to drink it on an empty stomach because they'll give you the best results. Okay, so this is a meter that kind of shows us the oxidation rate. So what this is kind of showing is that the higher this number goes, the more inflammation, the more toxicity. So the more plastic is here, the higher the number is going to get. So the word anti means against, and oxidation is like rust. So you see an apple that gets brown, that's oxidation. That's aging process. So antioxidants against the aging process. So it slows it down. So you find these antioxidants in fruits and vegetables. You have your vitamin C, your vitamin E, your vitamin A. Those help protect our body from our environment. So what's in our environment that can harm us? We have the water here. Oh my gosh, I had to pull this report because I've been doing a lot of investigating right now. I didn't know what the problem here, how things are happening, but what I was able to find out was there's these contaminants called PFOS, PFOS, and there's because they're disposing of these chemicals from Teflon, from your pans, your fire retardant, you know, anything that's waterproof. This is what this chemical PFOS is coming from. So these companies, big companies, were putting it into the water. And you think, well, how could they do that, right? How could they just put it into the water? Well, the EPA is who regulates the water, and they're not looking for PFOS. And how they would have to actually legally ask if they can put it in the water is they knock on the EPA's door and say, hey, we're going to be dumping this chemical into the water. Would you just check to make sure it's not hazardous for people that are going to be in the environment? Well, they never went to the EPA and said, hey, we're going to do this. They just started doing it. And then they started having people getting sick. They started having mom has baby and baby's deformed, started happening. And then the community started getting sick. The cows started getting sick. To the point where like, oh, there's something going on here. There's investigators now investigating it. I got to, last year in Vegas at the water quality event, I got to interview the gentleman who is suing DuPont. He used to work as DuPont's attorney, and he turned and started suing them now. It's $8 billion to clean it up from what's happened. So all these chemicals got in the water supply for 20 years, and they've tested over 100 people's blood throughout the US. Every single person's blood was positive, and every single water supply was positive. And so this chemical is still not regulated, although they have to check for it. So your city has to check for it, but they don't have to publicly let you know what they find, because there's got to be a timing, right? They don't want to just say, hey, here's toxic water. If you drink it, you're going to pass away. You're assuming with liver cancer, thyroid issues, all kinds of stuff. They don't want to scare you, so they give you 3 years before you have to legally tell the public. But you can ask for this information. So that's what I did. I found out the information, and this one here, PFBS, is a class of PFOS, is in the hazardous index. Hazardous. You ever been to a hazardous? You have to wear a mask and a suit, and hazardous. Caution, don't drink. And then on their brochure, they say it's excellent quality, safe to drink. But you don't know about it, right? And this is just one chemical. There's so many more. There's over 60,000 chemicals in our tap water. So once I started digging into this, I've been in and out of City Hall twice now. I've been prosecuting attorney is after me now because I'm recording information. Well, it's public, isn't it? Well, this is a private conversation. Well, what are you hiding from the public that you can't tell them? So it's gotten to be a little scary. So we've got, reports here and there and everywhere, but PFOS isn't the only thing. We got arsenic, we have pharmaceuticals, we have heavy metals. I mean, we got to get a good filter. So we specialize in whole house water filters. And our manufacturer will actually custom design something just for you. So we'll look at all the water reports, dig real deep and find out what we got. And then customize something that you can shower at ease, knowing you're not showering in contaminated water because it goes in your skin. So it's very important to have that whole house system. So we got to watch out for the toxins. That is what causes you to break down, age, and get sick. So our body, so antioxidants, back to the antioxidants, when we have those in our body, it protects us from the PFOS, from the air, from the food. And the more of those we have, the better our body can handle the stress. We have 3 different stressors, and oxidation or stress is linked to every single disease process. Everything. So diabetes, cancer, heart disease, doesn't matter what it is, they're all linked to one thing: too much stress, which causes inflammation. So you always, I am inflamed, like it's stress. Stress from our food, from our air, from our water. Negative thought, negative feeling, that's a chemical. Cortisol, adrenaline. I made my own self sick, because you thought a thought that created the feeling, and then all of a sudden you have all this cortisol and adrenaline, it's causing all this inflammation in your body. And then when the threat's gone, the body's like, okay, now we store all these chemicals somewhere, like your hip, you got hip pain. So that's how we get this energy that's stuck. It's just toxicity. So water is a solvent and a scavenger. You're going to drink it, it's going to come in, it's going to help you lessen the stress. And the reason we love hydrogen so much is because it's water, for one. How much of our body is water? We're a walking ocean, is what we are. A lot of us I used to think that well water is better than tap water. But then you think, well, who's regulating the well? And usually it's around a lot of farming, and there's a lot of pesticides, herbicides, homicide, suicide. So you don't really want that, No sides. We just want water. Okay, so this one, we'll start this guy. So we have a positive number here. We want it to be negative. So vitamin C would be negative, vitamin E would be negative, 196. Not as bad as I've seen before. Okay, and then we have 138 positive. That one's worse. If this is sitting in the car for an extended amount of time, it's hot, it goes way up, like 300-400. But it's probably not gotten too hot yet. And then here is our negative charge. So that's reducing the aging. So you can anti-age with every drink. Every sip, I'm getting younger. So negative almost 600 on the antioxidant charge. So that just kind of shows you. So if you took an apple, sprayed it with this water, it doesn't tend to get burned for 4 hours, slowing down the age. And hydrogen is able to go everywhere in your body. It can go in your brain because it's so small. And so that's what they're finding right now is a lot of studies on brain. Alzheimer's, Asperger's, ADHD, by any kind of brain issue. It's helping to also close that blood-brain barrier. So what you can do is our home model here is some of our most popular products. It has not only hydrogen, but it has ozone too. And so you can wash your fruits and vegetables with ozone water. It helps remove the chemicals, the pesticides and herbicides that are causing more oxidation. And then you can then rinse it with the hydrogen water, and it protects it with antioxidants. So go to the grocery store, get your fruits and vegetables, wash it in ozone, then you spray it or wash it in hydrogen soak. It's going to add weeks at sometimes. Asparagus that are crispy 2 weeks later. Like, wow, it's anti-aging my food too. So that's really cool. And then you can also use ozone for laundry. 2 gallons in your laundry, you don't even need soap. And that's just another chemical. The soap's chemical goes on our skin, goes in our lymphatic system. Our body's been bombarded every avenue. So the cleaner we can get our body, the better our body can then function. So we have the hydrogen, we have the ozone, and then this just sits on your counter and you just put it right to your faucet and it comes right out the top. And so now we have it in 2 different colors. We have a platinum version here, and then we have the standard black. So the home model is great because you can give a lot of people water and it comes with a filter. Because I know what you have in your water here, I would absolutely highly recommend a pre-filter, and we have those too. We can go underneath your sink and we can get water clean before it even goes in here and cleans it again. We also have the whole home water system option, and they're very, very affordable too. So you drink in this all day long, and then twice a day or 3 times a day you hydro shot. You're traveling, you need some water, pour it in there, push the button, super saturate. Because if you drink one level for so long, your body will just get used to it. So if you drink it all day, this one, higher level concentration, boom, a couple times a day, it doesn't have a chance to get used to it. So that works really good in combination. Then we have our disinfecting spray. So why I love this is this replaces your bleach. This is way stronger than bleach. All it is water and salt with electrolysis, and it kills 99.9% of bacteria and germs. MRSA, staph, gangrene, AIDS virus, E. coli, salmonella. It works great on any kind of wounds. If someone's got a sinus infection, if you have foot fungus, put it on your feet. Athlete's foot, deodorant, sure or unsure. I don't know. I'm a lady. I think it's sure. So you can put a little essential oil in it if you want. If you want to do that all day long, okay, I'm just gonna, kill the bacteria. That's why we smell. So that will take care of your deodorant needs. You can use it for tightening your skin, toning your skin. But it's great for wounds, and it's great for countertops, toilets, sinks, mirrors, anywhere you would love to sanitize, but safe. You can drink it. not gonna harm you. Yeah, it's safe. We used to, when we had the Kangen system, there used to be a button on the unit you pushed. It would be the 2.5, and that was this water, but this is 5 times stronger than that 2.5 because it sits there for 5 minutes. And then we'd always buying this solution to make it, and it was salt water, but we'd have to buy it. This, you just put table salt in there. So, and then you can travel with it too. It's just great. So yeah, we really love this. We also have our spa. So this is the ageless spa, and everyone deserves to have one of these because this will go in your shower, and we put 2 different kinds of hydrogen, a slow and a fast acting. When you put hydrogen on your skin, it's anti-aging, but it helps you make collagen, which is the protein for your skin that helps your skin stay elastic. And then we have the vitamin C, we have minerals in there for your skin, and then there's also some media to help lower the contamination in your water too. We've had customers raving about this thing. They're like calling me, I can't believe it even cleaned my shower. I'm like, wow, that's great. So we do have lots of great unique products that are on our website. I did bring some products today too, so if you guys wanted to kind of, the bundle pack that I was showing you here consists of the home unit model here. So this is a bundle pack. This one retails for $27.95. This one retails for $250. These are $60, and then the bottle is on sale for $200 right now. And then you also get the shower head. So all of this is only $24.95. So you get all of these. So we got a value bundle pack. And then what I love is that it also is able to be used as a tax deductible item. So it'll cost you more not to own one than to own one. So you're gonna keep buying bottled water. The average person, how much do they spend, do you think, in bottled water? A month. And it's not even any better than the tap water. And it's in the plastic bottle. But you think you're doing better because no one's saying, hey, you're not. Anyhow, so yeah, the average person is spending about $150 to $200 a month to drink bottled water. We have financing too. We can get this pack for about $27 a month. No interest for 16 months. When you get it, what's going to happen to you is what happened to me. You're going to drink it. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I feel so great. Everyone around is like, what are you doing? And then you're going to start giving them the water, and then they're going to want it. And then you can have it tax deductible item for helping people, even if you don't sell it. And then also you can have the opportunity, our company, my company will say thank you so much and give you a nice little thank you check. And so if you're interested in that, we have a whole training program. We have 12 weeks. You get to go and learn everything and even how to sell. So it's really fun. It's really rewarding on that end of it. So that's a little bit about me and the products and all the great things that we have going. So if you have questions, I'd love to answer those questions. That's what I want to know about, because our unit makes hydrogen water and it makes ozone water. Oh. And so I want to know how you...
The little ones?
Actually, no, the home unit.
The home unit, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So fruits and vegetables is what I've been washing, and then laundry, I love it. And my laundry, oh my gosh, it smells so good.
Yeah.
But what is ozone?
It's O3, and it's very unstable. So when you inject it in the body, which we use in Prolozone, it's a small concentration. Within 10 seconds, it's gone.
Wow. So someone's back inflammation, you take ozone, put it in the body, and it stores inflammation.
It's going to react and form water and basically release oxygen. But there's energy that's released in the body. I don't know quite how it uses it, but it uses it. For example, your white cells use hydrogen peroxide to kill bacteria. So they have to make that, and that takes energy to make it. So your body can sort of transmute this energy. You provide it the energy, and ozone is a very convenient way to give your body energy. And in low doses, it's quite safe. It's not there very long, and you get quick results.
Wow. So what's interesting is that ozone water is not to drink water. You can go online, it's like, don't drink it. But then you find these other sites that are like, there's so many studies with so many benefits, and drink this, it's amazing.
Like Houston or something, they had a moldy house. They cover the whole house like a circus tent and fill it full of ozone. You go in there and breathe that, probably kill you.
Oh, wow.
Because it's high concentration.
Right.
And, but when you're using it, injecting it, it's a small concentration, maybe 3%, and it just dissipates. So it all depends on the concentration. You know, if you say it's dangerous, or what concentration is it dangerous? Yeah, you know, if you're putting high doses in, yeah, it could be dangerous.
So at risk.
Yeah.
If you're going to do this, make sure you consult with your healthcare practitioner.
Right, right.
And we are not healthcare practitioners. You're retired, so but you used to be a medical doctor there. So appreciate your time for sure. Okay, so why would you drink ozone? Would it be like a bacterial yeast infection you got going on? Would it be acne? Would it be gut issues? Would it be inflammation? Like, what would somebody say? Oh, I'm going to drink ozone water today.
Well, it would work on some bacteria because most of the bacteria that it's going to get to, the ozone's not going to even get there. I mean, that ozone is going to be gone pretty quick.
It gets eaten up quick.
I mean, it's highly reactive. So, you know, some of the things people do, they don't really make sense, you know, but so it's not going to last very long in the body. But the energy and stuff that's released can be used by the body.
So would it be a benefit for someone to say once a week consume 1 glass of ozone water?
Actually, I don't know the answer to that.
No. So there's probably not enough research or studies to prove that it's effective.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know one way or the other. So I just don't know.
From the results, so I had this one gal, super sweet gal, but she had really bad acne, like terrible acne. And so she just thought one day, oh, I'm going to drink this ozone water. And I didn't tell her to drink the water. I was like, what? You're drinking ozone water? That's for washing fruits and vegetables. She's like, my acne's gone. She's like, you have no idea. I'm showing everybody. She was selling her product like crazy because she, you know, but she was drinking a little bit, you know, more than a glass. I know that. I don't know how much, but more than a glass.
Well, yeah, acne's an inflammatory process, you know, and especially bad fats and things like that too much sugar can, when you're a teenager especially, can trigger acne. So she's probably just knocking out inflammation. And if you can knock out inflammation, then your skin's going to clear up.
Would it detox you though? Would it detoxify your body, like get rid of, you know, toxins and chemicals that are in it?
So it makes it water soluble. Then at phase 2, it adds different salts to it depending on what it is to get it out of there. So detoxification is fairly complex and it needs certain chemicals there to do it. So I don't think ozone by itself would do that, but the main thing is it's just providing energy into the system, and the system can use that.
So it's not a bad idea to include in a regimen maybe once a week, once a month.
Yeah, you're asking me a question.
No,
I have to
don't
research.
know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just asking
I might be
to myself. I'm like, I wonder if that's not a bad idea. I should start doing that.
I don't want to give you an answer that I haven't researched myself.
Well, that's very nice.
Because a lot of things we do things sometimes we don't even know why we do them. We just know they work.
What about ozone on the skin? Because I used to have this machine when I was having my throat open. You would sit in it. I think I showed you it. You sit there, and then it steams you with ozone and hydrogen, and it goes in your body, and it's like a little, you know, cube.
Yeah, I think that would work because it's going to penetrate to a certain degree. It's going to be an antioxidant for your skin, and it's going to give the skin energy. You know, one thing about the modern form of energy is, you know, we use drugs, and the drugs will have a reaction, a chemical reaction, which will turn into energy in some form. Energy is the end result. As we get more advanced in our medicine, we find we don't need the chemicals, the drugs or whatever. We can just put in the frequencies and put in the energy and bypass all that. And
that's so hard for a lot of people to really get this frequency thing. Like, this is one thing, it's like, you know how, it's interesting. When I first started the Kangen business 15 years ago, I had this doctor, Dr. Kangen, she's a brain doctor, and she's very highly intelligent. She was talking about the blood-brain barrier and hydrogen, all this research on hydrogen. She didn't say Kangen, hydrogen. So when she came to Tri-Cities, I had 300 people in that room. And I can't even go in front of anyone to speak. Like, in front of my own employees, I'm already talking about the demo, like, nervous. So 300 people show up. I'm like, there's certain people who's going to introduce the speakers. I show up in the bathroom, someone else in the front. Either way, this doctor came up, and she was unbelievable. The information she gave everybody was wow. Then she had someone come up from the audience and she did muscle testing. As soon as she did that muscle testing, everyone was like, this is a scam. And that's how everyone left. And so right now, when we're talking about medical, this prescription is going to be doing this in your body, people are programmed that's going to work for them. And so when we go a little further and we start talking about health of water, you know, all these healthy things you can do instead, and now we can just do frequencies, they're thinking right away, red flag, I don't know what you're talking about, and so it must not work.
Well,
and that's why, you know, we're here to educate you. There's this thing called frequencies, and if you don't know about it, it's everywhere. Everything operates on one. It's a law of the universe, folks. Get with the program. He's talking about frequencies, adding it to your body to help your body heal itself. It's unreal. Frequency medicine.
Well, when you're using chemicals, that's what you are using. But you just have to go through these chemical processes to get those frequencies. But the end result is energy, and chemical reactions occur with energy. And that's not patentable.
Energy is.
What is not very patentable, you know, like a drug is to cause the same kind of energy.
But what's so incredible about this whole situation is that when you know how powerful you are and you can control energy, and you just tell yourself, hey, I got this problem over here, give me the right frequency, feel it, and then it starts healing itself.
You know,
I mean, your
the Germans have known this a long time ago. when I first started in this 30, 40 years ago, they would have a machine, not muscle testing, but a machine, and they could, basically measure the resistances, and then they could put things in and would see that there'd be a change. And they would put frequencies on a credit card, which you would wear. And this was 30 years ago. The Germans have been up to this, for a long time. We won World War II because we had better German physicists than the Germans did. So, but that's the end result. Because they're all related, the chemistry will cause chemical reactions which will release energy. And those bonds are shaped by the energy of those bonds. So energy is the end result of everything. But if you're not familiar with that, it looks like if you went 100 years ago and drove up to your car, or you wouldn't have a car, but if you went up your buggy and pushed a button and your garage door opened, you'd probably end up on a stake. That's energy. That's just a signal. And the drugs work the same way. They have the chemical bonds will have a shape, and that shape will turn a key and the chemical reactions will occur. That's why when you put your food in a microwave, you're destroying those enzymes because you're changing those shapes, those keys, the chemicals, so the energy is not the same.
And what about genetically modified food? Because they're injecting a protein into the seed that makes it resistant. That's obviously destroying the protein structure, isn't it?
All right. I mean, they've got studies where they've had cows graze on GMO feed there. They died. They can't live on it by itself. So, and there's a reason that Europe doesn't allow this stuff there. We're in a situation right now with all of our advances in medicine and everything. Our lifespans are going down, not up.
I know.
And it's because our governments, our regulators are all basically, when the word is not corrupt is probably too strong a word, but at NIH they said there's, I think, 800 of the researchers have outside interests, conflicts of interest that shouldn't be doing the research. And the British Journal of Medicine says, research these days is not really worth that much because of all the special interests. You can't trust it. Our regulatory agents, when they retire from there, they go work for the industry they regulate. We've got this big circle going around. And since they allowed you to advertise, the news media, and that's all corrupt, because who's going to say something against, one of your sponsors at 70% of your business? So.
Tell a lie, vision. Tell a lie, vision. They're telling you a lie to create the vision. So you attach yourself to the vision, and oh my gosh, because you're seeing this in your mind, you're automatically having the feeling of this happening, and you attract everything to your situation that matches this image that they're programming you in. It's very sad, and I actually didn't believe this was to be true, that our government could be corrupt, until I started digging into all of the water facts. Like, I had no idea how bad the situation really is and how programmed the people are that work there, that they don't want to give you information, that they're telling us, you leave right now. We're not telling you who we are. We don't want you here.
Well, when your salary is dependent on you not knowing certain information,
Yeah, and then you get sent. You're going to go to the prosecuting attorney now because you video recorded something that we didn't want you to. I'm like, well, isn't this like a public building, and isn't this like a public conversation? This is how serious it is, because they don't want anyone that knows anything to say anything to scare the population, because then we have another COVID under no control of them. See, and now everyone's against the government, and they don't want that, because if they knew that was true, they would be poor on the street and we would take over the world, and they don't want that. Well, that's my opinion. I could be a politician sometimes, I feel.
Well, yeah, money is the issue. I mean, there's a lot of money involved.
They're spending on the fire trucks, $4 million on the fire trucks. So they're taking the funds from all the citizens that pay. They take the funds, 4% of it, and they give it to the fire department or anything else. But they don't have any funds allocated to go back to the water.
And you look at, having dealt with a lot of brain damaged kids and knowing the effect of toxins on that, you think about places like Flint, Michigan. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg there. I mean, this problem of lead and everything, it's all over, and the IQs are going down. And
I think it's not only that, it's also to do with what's programming them now. I watched my girls grow up, and my cell phone was new when I was 15, 16. Now a cell phone 4 years old. They're YouTube, they're watching this one and that one. They are getting programmed so much by all this technology. But then they're going in their life and they can't even focus on anything in front of them because they never learned how to focus. And then they have ADD, ADHD, whatever, because they're like, I can't focus, these jumping monkeys in my brain. So therefore I need a drug to help me with this.
Yeah.
Which then makes them freaking alert as heck. But the problem is that overstresses their adrenal glands. And then they get sick because they get so dependent on this one thing, and then they end up not being able to do anything.
Well,
because they're
all the
so
kids
sick.
are dopamine junkies.
And they get alcohol because it helps with their anxiety that
Go
they
wa-
created.
Go watch a cartoon and see if you can count to 6 between frames, like one scene or another. I mean, they're changing the frames on all this so fast because every time they do that, it creates a little dopamine hit. That's why the video games are so addictive, because they're designed to kick up that dopamine. And when you don't have that regular dopamine like you do from a video game or watching a video, it's hard for you to focus because
you're looking for something to make you feel better.
well, you
That's
want
what
that dopamine.
dopamine does.